Am I wrong for being upset that I found out my wife was pregnant via social media? I'm 29 and she's 27. We've been together for 4 years, married for 2, both from the same hometown, but currently living in a different city. She's at our hometown for a family event and I stayed back due to work. We've been trying to get pregnant for 3 months and now it's happened. The problem is the way I found out about it. My friend congratulated me by posting a screenshot in our group chat, a screenshot of an Instagram story posted by one of my wife's friends. The post was my wife crying and hugging some of her friends with the caption, "You are going to be the best mom." I called her right away and she answered pretty quickly saying, "I have news, babe." All I said was, "I know, you're pregnant." She replied, "Wow, how did you know?" I just said, "Saw on Insta, didn't think to call me first, huh?" She said, "What? I didn't post anything." I responded, "Yeah, but your friends did. That's one way to find out I'm going to be a dad. Thanks." And I hung up. I was furious. She kept calling me and I didn't answer until my sister called shortly after. My sister asked me what was going on because she just arrived at my in-laws' house and everyone was freaking out, fighting, and my wife was locked up in her room. I told her what happened and she said, "There's no way she would do that." I replied, "Well, she did." My sister said she was going to find out what was going on. A little later, my sister called me back, explained everything. At that point, I'd calmed down, thinking it was just a crappy friend who decided to post without permission. But my sister filled me in on the details. My wife is late on her period, and while hanging out with a friend, they thought, "What if you're already pregnant?" So they bought a bunch of pregnancy tests, all of which came out positive. They freaked out, told her parents, and then texted some friends in town to come over. From the time she found out to the time her friend posted on Instagram, only 2 hours had passed. My wife told at least 10 people before telling me. For the record, my sister told me that the argument going on when she arrived because the other friends were upset with the one who posted on Instagram. Apparently, they all thought it was a bad thing to do and were mad at her, but they also couldn't understand why my wife hadn't told me sooner. I finally called my wife and she was crying. She apologized and said she'd been planning to surprise me, which is why she hadn't told me yet. I was skeptical and pointed out that if she really wanted to surprise me, she wouldn't have been ready. I don't understand though. She probably wanted to tell him when she went back to him and told him instead of telling him through a phone. I don't understand what he's so upset about. It's not like she knew before she left for the trip and then she started telling her family and her friends and then he found out on social media because she posted it. She only figured it out like 2 hours before all of this happened. And they're not even in the same city right now. She's back home from their hometown. And he's where they currently live. She probably wanted to tell me in person. What is he so upset about? I'm so confused. What the hell? I was skeptical and pointed out that if she really wanted to surprise me, she wouldn't have been ready to tell me right when I called. She went silent and I told her I needed some time to think. She yelled saying I couldn't just walk away and that we needed to talk about it. I replied, "Why do we need to talk? So you can lie again?" And I hung up. A ton of people have been messaging me, but I'm honestly exhausted. I don't know why, but this has drained me. I've cried randomly, which is unusual for me. I'm not a crier. This isn't supposed to be a huge deal, but it feels like I've been hit by a truck. My sister sent me a message that really stuck. "Hey, I know this sucks, and it was crappy of her, but don't let this ruin it for you. You're going to be a dad. You're going to be an amazing dad. This is great. The only thing keeping me going right now is knowing that I'm going to be a dad. I've dreamt of this, and all I hope is that this baby's healthy. I'll probably swallow my pride and pretend I'm fine just to avoid making my wife too emotional during the pregnancy. But I'll do that tomorrow. Tonight I'll just talk. But I don't understand. It's not like she knew before she went on the trip and then just told her family and friends and then posted it herself. The sister literally said that she only found out 2 hours ago and it all happened quickly. If I found out I was pregnant while I was at my parents' house, I wouldn't want to call my husband and tell him over the phone. I would want to tell him in person. And she did call him, she said, "Oh, I have news." And he said, "What? Is it because you're pregnant?" And she said, "Yeah." So it's not like she hid it. She was about to tell him when he called her anyway. It's like, this guy is doing too much. I don't know. Am I wrong for refusing to let my brother bring his girlfriend to Thanksgiving after she disrespected my wife? I, 31 male, am married to Lily, 30 female. My brother Josh, 29 male, recently started dating Lindsay, 27 female. And while she's been polite at family events, Lily feels Lindsay has made some passive-aggressive comments. For example, at a recent BBQ, Lindsay said it was selfish that Lily and I weren't planning to have kids anytime soon. Lily felt uncomfortable, but I didn't say anything at the time. Another incident happened at a family dinner when Lindsay remarked, "I'm surprised you two are so happy without kids. You must really be good at being selfish." Lily was hurt by the comment, and it made her feel like Lindsay was judging her for. I don't understand. Why is that in her business? Lindsay was judging our life choices. Most recently, at a birthday party, Lindsay made a comment about Lily's career, saying, "It's cute that you're working part-time with no kids, while Josh and I really focus on our careers." Lily was annoyed, but didn't say anything because she didn't want to start drama. Thanksgiving is at our house this year, and when Josh asked if he could bring Lindsay, I told him I'd prefer if she didn't come. I explained that some of our comments had made Lily feel disrespected, and I didn't want to ruin the holiday. Josh got upset and said I was being petty. He argued that I was overreacting and that Lindsay was just being honest, but I stood my ground. Now Josh says he won't come if Lindsay isn't invited, and my parents are caught in the middle. My mom thinks I'm being too harsh, but I feel like I'm standing up for my wife. Am I wrong for refusing to let my brother bring his girlfriend to Thanksgiving? I never really understood the reasoning behind, oh, if you don't have children, then you're selfish. Having kids you're not ready for is selfish. Having kids you do not want just for the sake of having kids, that's selfish. But saying, hey, I don't want kids, I don't want to take care of children, I'm not ready for that responsibility, and honestly, I just don't want to do it. That's not selfish. That's just knowing what you want and sticking to your boundaries. Like, I don't understand. What the hell? Besides, like, why is that near her business? Why doesn't she start having kids and live in a farm and be pregnant and barefoot in the kitchen 24/7? Why are some people just so worried and nosy about other people's life choices? Am I wrong for kicking out the real estate lawyer that my fiance brought to my house? I feel what happened with my fiance Scott for 5 years. I've lost my mom, who was my remaining parent, 7 months ago. She left me her house and I became the official owner 3 months ago. This is when Scott proposed to me and we got engaged. Although he wanted to wait before we got engaged, he said that me owning the house now made him feel like we were ready to be married. Few days ago, he suggested I add his name onto the title of the house, and he has been persistent about it. He explained that this step was necessary to ensure balance in our relationship and marriage, even though I never made him feel like he's inferior or something. Oh, and I make more money than him, by the way, so I don't get how adding his name onto the house title would change anything. But since he insisted, and since we've been together for a long time and we're engaged now, I decided to do it, but only after we get married. He disagreed and insisted we get it done before we get married. After a lot of back and forth on this, I told him to drop it and wait till after marriage. Well, yesterday, I was surprised to see that he had brought a real estate lawyer to the house. And not only that, he said he has arranged for the legal process to start now. I was completely shocked because I never agreed to hire a lawyer, let alone bring him to the house. I immediately asked the lawyer to leave. He tried to speak, but I told him he needed to leave. Scott remained quiet till the lawyer left. Then he gave me a look and told me that what I did was selfish and disrespectful, not to the lawyer, but to him, and what we agreed on. I told him his pushing made me reconsider the whole thing now, and he looked shocked and hurt and stormed out. We continued fighting over the phone, and he didn't stop talking about how stubborn and selfish I have been lately. He said he was trying his best to provide a stable living situation for us before we got married, but I was being uncooperative. After that, he completely ignored my calls. Was I in the wrong for what I did? How is he gonna provide her a stable living situation with her own house? She's already why? Like, it's her house. She owns the damn house. Like, man, don't piss me off.